I just want to make sure I'm gonna have enough space. Yeah. That's gonna be cutting it very close. Well, it is what it is. Here we go. Hi, I'm Dan, and this is Puzzle File. Today I'm going to be taking on the 3,000 piece Where's Waldo puzzle. This is the second part of a two-part series, so if you want to see part 1 where I solved the 100, the 550, and the 1,000 piece Waldos, click the link up there. This is definitely the one that's going to take the longest, so I'm going to jump right into it. Let's take a look at the box. Okay, here's our 3,000 piece Waldo box. This one is also by Aquarius. You may not be able to tell right away what the theme of this image is. These are all toys. So we've got some alphabet blocks here and a ship, and there's toys on shelves. It's a very busy image. Not much very interesting on the sides of the box. The bottom of the box has our full puzzle image. Let's see what 3,000 pieces looks like. Oh yeah, that's a big bag of pieces. Okay, these are very similar to the 1,000 piecers. These are very... Oh no. Oh no. Oh, they're all the same shape. They're all 2x2s. Oof. Oh, that's rough. These are all 2x2s and they don't look very unique in the way that they're cut. No, what a terrible surprise on our last Waldo. I don't know why, I just assumed these were going to be the same as the 1,000 piece size. I was feeling so optimistic about the 3,000 after how well the last one went. It may not matter that much. I honestly didn't rely on piece shape very much at all for the 1,000 piece. I think we'll be all right. I think we'll be all right. So here are my plans for this one. On the 1,000 piece, the background was all really similar, and so I was mostly working off of distinct dinosaurs. This one's kind of the opposite. I don't really have any unique characters, but there's some distinct sections of background. So there's this yellow, the red shelves, there's the blue boat, there's a castle over here. So I think that's where I'm going to be focusing. As far as sorting, I'm really torn. It's a lot of pieces. And so on the one hand, I'm thinking I should probably do some serious sorting up front. On the other hand, that's going to take forever and I hate sorting. I think I'm just going to flip everything right side up, get everything kind of laid out where I can see it, and go from there. Wow, 3,000 pieces is a lot of pieces. It took me 1 hour and 42 minutes to get everything plated out. When you're doing a large puzzle, you immediately have to solve the issue of what I call piece management in my own head when I'm talking to myself. Piece management is just, where are we going to put all these pieces so that we can see them and get to them when we need them? If you're doing a really small puzzle, your piece management might just be to flip everything right side up in a single layer on the table where you're building the puzzle. But for a large puzzle, you really need to have a plan. So let me show you how I've tackled this one. So these are my regular sorting trays, and I have 4 of these, which is perfect for a 1,000-piece puzzle, but I knew it was not gonna cut it for this puzzle. So what I did was I bought a couple full sheets of poster board that I cut in half, so I've got 4 half sheets of poster board. I've laid all the pieces out in 2 neat layers so that I can pretty much see every piece, and so that is a little daunting to look at all together there. So over here on the puzzle table, I've got the edge pieces sorted out already, and I've got an empty tray here, so I have somewhere to put pieces as I pull them out of the slush pile. I am gonna start with the edges. Here's my concern. The piece shapes don't look very unique. I'm not worried about false fits across the whole puzzle because the design is so busy. There's enough going on with the picture that I'll know if something's right or wrong. Except there's one part of the edge that is all these sort of creamy beige pieces. And so I'm worried that I'm gonna get some false fits with these. I'm still gonna try to do the frame first, but if those get too false fitty, I'm gonna skip that and we'll get to it later when I have more to work off of. Okay, I'm mostly done with the frame now, and I already have so many things that I want to talk to you about. First of all, take a good look at the quality of the printing of this image. You can see that it is very pixely, which I'm surprised by because, again, I think that this is not a classic Waldo image. I think this was created for the puzzle, and yet they seem to have not created it at the proper resolution. So that's a little disappointing. Moving down the line here, let me call your attention to this spot right here. These 2 pieces, which appear that they're supposed to fit together, are not quite a perfect match. When I take them apart, you can see like there's a little bit of the yellow hat on this piece, but over here it's not missing any of the yellow hat. I do think these 2 pieces go together. I think what's going on here is that this puzzle is so big that they cut it in 2 sections. And a lot of companies do this when they have a big puzzle, but it looks here like they have not been very careful with how those 2 sides are going to join up with each other. So I think we're going to see this same kind of misalignment running all the way up the puzzle. Now we might want to check the image on the box to make sure that these 2 pieces are supposed to go together. But we're going to have a little trouble with that, and here's why. First of all, this is kind of a small image for such a big puzzle. On the version on the front of the box, we've got some graphics that are blocking the picture. And on the back, we get the full image, but it's even smaller. And on the front and the back, the edges have been cut off of the picture. So take a look down here in this corner. Right in the corner, we've got this toy that has sort of a pink shirt with red buttons. So if we want to compare that to what's going on in the puzzle, we've got our pink shirt, red buttons right here. We can see more of her. We can see these legs. This guy doesn't appear on the box image at all because he's cut off. And there's a whole other person to the left of her. So I wasn't really able to use the box at all to put the frame together, which was a little annoying. You can see here I'm missing a piece. It probably got sorted into the slush pile and I'll find it later. And also, it was exactly as I feared with this top row. There are so many false fits in this puzzle, and on the top row, there's just not enough image going on for me to be able to get it together right now. That ends up working out perfectly, though, because I actually don't have room for that top row on my board. I thought this puzzle was going to just barely fit on this table. It turns out it just barely doesn't. So what I'm gonna have to do is move the whole puzzle onto my large foam board. I have a 4-foot by 3-foot foam board. The thing about that is, do you remember back in my to-do stack video where I showed you all that I was working on a Buffalo Games puzzle called Drops of Color? So yeah, I never finished that puzzle. It is still sitting here taking up my big foam board. So I either need to finish Drops of Color or I need to go buy another big foam board. Either way, it looks like I'm putting the 3,000-piece Waldo on hold for today. I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do and I'll get back to it tomorrow. My timer only goes up to 10 hours, so from here on out, add 10 hours to what you see. Okay, I've passed 17 hours of puzzling time now, and it's finally starting to feel like we're getting somewhere. Let's take a look. So it looks a little chaotic, very full of holes, but some sections are starting to fill in. I did find this edge piece that had been missorted. The edge is all complete now, except for this one oddball piece that does not fit in its slot. There's no way for me to wedge this in here that it fits. That's sort of the best that I can do. It is right on that split where the two sections meet, but it doesn't even fit within its own section. I have no idea how this happened. So this puzzle has been really tricky because the same colors repeat all across it, and so it's really hard to separate out discrete sections. I was off to a good start with the castle because this is the only area that has this gray stone. But for example, if I try to do this yellow section and I pull things with a yellow background, we've got yellow background here, but also coming down here, this little strip, it's here, it's over here, there's this little yellow background, there's yellow background here, here, and over here. And that doesn't even take into account that there's yellow in the foreground all across the image as well to confuse me. So it's been very slow progress and a lot of box studying, which I don't really enjoy. I much prefer to take a pile of pieces and figure out how they go together on my own, but with this puzzle, I just would never get there. So it's been a lot of picking up a piece, comparing it to the box, finding where it goes in the puzzle. It's slow going. Let's take a quick break for some Waldo trivia. So in my part 1 video, I mentioned that the original was Where's Wally, which is what he's called in the UK where he was created. He was given the name Waldo for releases in the US and Canada. A bunch of you messaged me to let me know some of his other names from around the world. Outside of the UK, he's also known as Wally in Australia, and in countries that speak Dutch, Spanish, and Portuguese, and some others. In Norway, he's Where's Willy. In Germany, he's Where's Walter. In France, he goes by Charlie. Denmark calls him Holger. He's Ali in Turkey. He's Effie in Israel. And in Italy, he's Ubaldo, which is probably my favorite. Interestingly, Waldo's rival is named Oddlaw, which is Waldo spelled backwards, but his name doesn't change geographically. He's always Oddlaw. I'm sure that I've missed some other Waldo variations out there, so if I missed your Waldo, please let me know down below. What is he called in your country? And let's get back to the puzzling. Good morning. Last night I hit the 30-hour mark on this puzzle, and I said I'm gonna take that as a sign to wrap it up for today. Come back with fresh eyes in the morning. At this point, I've pretty much done everything that I was able to sort out by the background color. And so the large sections are all filled in now, but there's a lot of gaps that I still have to plug. The pieces I have left now are either crowds of people that are so close together you can't see any background, or pieces where it's sort of impossible to tell what's foreground and what's background. I think potentially I could have this done today. I'm always too optimistic about these things, but I think I really could wrap this up today. This part of the 1,000-piece Waldo went really fast. I don't feel like I know this picture quite as well as I knew those dinosaurs at the end. I know this one's gonna be harder, but I've already noticed that it's picking up speed the further I go. Waldo challenge is done. My final time on that last one was 37 hours and 12 minutes. We knew that one was going to take the longest. It's 3,000 pieces. At the beginning I had predicted, I said the 3,000 piece will take the longest, but I thought the 550 was going to be the most difficult. Now, was that true? It's a little hard to say. We can compare our times from each one, but it's sort of apples and oranges because they're all different size puzzles. But one way we can compare is with a little puzzle math. So in order to compare these 4 puzzles fairly, we're going to do some complex basic arithmetic called division and figure out the pieces per minute for each puzzle. And for the math sticklers out there, I'm going to be rounding our time to the nearest minute, and I'll be rounding the pieces per minute to 2 decimal places. Okay, so starting with our piece counts, we've got 100, 550, 1,000, and 3,000. The 100 piece took 18 minutes, which gives us 5.56 pieces per minute. Not bad. The 550 took 684 minutes, giving us 0.80 pieces per minute, less than 1 piece per minute on that one. The 1,000 piece took 491 minutes, which is 2.04 pieces per minute. And finally, and here's the question I had, is the 3,000 going to be slower or faster than the 550? The 3,000 took 2.232 minutes, which is 1.34 pieces per minute. Less than 2 pieces per minute, but still faster than the 550, the Land of Waldos, which I was going at a rate of less than 1 piece per minute. That's very slow. By the way, all 4 puzzles took a combined time of 55 hours and 5 minutes. That's a lot of Waldoing. So in terms of pieces per minute, the Land of Waldos was the hardest of these 4 puzzles. But how do they all compare in terms of quality? The 2 by Great American Puzzle Factory are really similar in terms of quality. The only real difference is that the 100 piece is grid cut and the 550 piece is random cut. Their pieces feel great. They've held up really well for being over 30 years old. They have a nice snug fit so that you can do a full puzzle pickup on these. The 100 piece was fun. It's definitely a children's puzzle, but it was fun to do. And I also really enjoyed the 550. I would also say that I prefer the art from the older puzzles. That might just be because I grew up with these old images and the artwork is nostalgic for me. But the old ones feel hand-drawn. The new ones have much more saturated colors. I don't know how the images were produced for the new ones, but they feel digital to me. The 2 by Aquarius I have to talk about separately because the quality was really different between these two puzzles. On the 1000 piece, I was really impressed. I've done a couple Aquarius puzzles in the past that I didn't think the quality was that great. They were fine. This one is a bit nicer than the other ones I had tried. The pieces are a good thickness, the image was really clear and bright, a little bit of a loose fit, a little bit crumbly, but not too bad. I was able to move some small sections around. No problems with false fits. Really solid puzzling experience. But on the 3000 piece puzzle, it was like a whole different brand. We had all kinds of quality issues that I pointed out. The pieces were a decent thickness, but felt a little cheaper, like they were peeling at the edges a little more. The pixely puzzle image, all the standard 2x2 puzzle shape with lots of false fits. If it weren't for the fact that there was such a detailed, busy image, the false fits would have been a nightmare on this. The sloppy handling of where the two sections join together, and the one edge piece that doesn't even fit into its slot. I still really enjoyed this puzzle. In the end, those are just a bunch of little nitpicky things, but it is a bunch of little nitpicky things. Ultimately, I wouldn't discourage you from buying any of these puzzles. Even with the quality issues, this 3000 piece Waldo was a really cool experience. While working on these, I realized what's so great about these, and great about jigsaw puzzles in general, is that working a puzzle forces you to really slow down and look at all the little details of an image. And with images like these that are so incredibly detailed and with so much thought put into each little character and each little scene, it's a really fun experience to be able to take all of that in. Which is also what Martin Handford was trying to accomplish when he added Waldo into his crowd scene pictures, to get you to really slow down and look at the whole image and take in all those details. I'm gonna link to the Aquarius puzzles down below. The older ones are readily available online. I found mine on eBay. If you're looking for them, they're out there. All right, I'm gonna get back to puzzling, but no more Waldo for a while. Catch you all next time.